Brainwashing equals systematic psychological manipulation to alter beliefs, judge behavior without rational consent. Declassified CIA documents define mass media as primary tool for mass conditioning. It operates not via torture, but repetition, authority bias, and emotional hijacking. Media is not information, it is programming. 92% of global content is controlled by 6 conglomerates. Uniform output ensures uniform thought. 1988, Noam Chomsky and Edward Herman published Manufacturing Consent. 5 filters proving media serves elite interests. Ownership, advertising, expert sourcing, flack, fear ideology. News is selected not by truth, but by profit-power alignment. Studies confirm 85% of mainstream news follows identical narrative across all outlets. Consensus equals control, not truth. Psychology law. A lie repeated 1000x becomes truth. Nazi propagandist Goebbels. Constant repetition is most effective weapon. Modern media. Core phrases. Build back better. New normal. Repeated 10,000 plus times annually. fMRI scans show repetition rewires neural pathways, bypassing critical analysis. Belief becomes automatic. Media does not report events, it frames them. Terrorist versus freedom fighter, austerity versus fiscal responsibility. Linguistic studies prove framing changes public opinion by 60 to 80% without changing facts. We only see what they allow us to see. Context is removed, emotion amplified. Reality is constructed sentence by sentence. Media is designed to trigger fear, anger, joy, all disable prefrontal cortex, critical thinking. Studies. Viewers retain only 5% of factual info, 95% of emotional feeling. 70% of content uses fear, proven to increase conformity and dependency. When you react, you're being controlled. Logic dies when emotion rules. BlackRock, Charge, Vanguard own majority stakes in Disney, Warner, Comcast, Paramount, News Corp, Sony. Same investors control pharmaceuticals, defense, banking. Cross-ownership ensures content never threatens core profit. Media does not challenge power, it protects it. Independent media is less than 2% of total reach. Declassified 1975 Church Committee. CIA recruited 400+ top journalists, editors to control global narrative. Major outlets, NYT, CBS, Time, directly managed by intelligence. While officially closed, structure remains, vetted personnel, funding streams, revolving doors. News is state-approved storytelling. 1969. GE Labs study. Within 30 seconds, TV shifts brain from beta, awake, to alpha, hypnotic state. Critical function drops by 80%. Viewers become suggestible as sleepers. Average adult watches 4 hours daily, 1-3 waking life in trance. Television is the ultimate mind control device ever invented. Children spend 6 hours a day on screens, more than school. Values are absorbed from films, shows. Authority equals good. Individualism equals selfish. Consumption equals happiness. Harvard study. Media has 3x more influence on worldview than parents. We are educated to be compliant workers and consumers, not free thinkers. 24-hour news designed to prevent deep analysis. Topics change every 2 to 3 days. No resolution, no learning. Studies. Continuous exposure reduces attention span to 8 seconds, less than goldfish. Population becomes incapable of addressing long-term systemic issues. We live in perpetual reactive state. 90% of experts on air are funded by corporate state bodies. Medical authorities tied to pharma, economic gurus tied to banks. Credibility is rented. Viewers transfer trust from institution to speaker. Dissenting experts are marginalized or erased. Truth becomes certified opinion. Media creates artificial left-right, liberal, conservative divide. 95% of core policies remain identical between parties. Energy is directed into infighting, never upward against controllers. Stanford study. Media polarization increases acceptance of authoritarian measures by 47%. Unity is the greatest threat to power. 65% of news content is fear-based: crime, disease, disaster. Psychology. Fear increases desire for strong leadership and protection. Citizens trade freedom for safety. Post 9/11 pandemic. Surveillance accepted, rights surrendered. Fear is the primary currency of control. Advertising is 1/3 of all media. Message: you are what you buy. Self-worth tied to possessions. Studies: 75% of purchasing decisions made subconsciously via media conditioning. We work to consume to belong. Slavery disguised as choice. True censorship is what you never see. Solutions to systemic problems, alternative systems, elite corruption are systematically excluded. 99% of population has no framework for change. The Overton window defines what is acceptable to think, say. You are free, inside the cage they built. Kinsey Institute, Rockefeller Studies, traditional family, resistance to state. Media systematically erodes marriage, gender norms, parental authority since 1950s. Result: isolated individuals dependent on state services. Sexuality becomes tool for atomization and control. Pentagon admits cooperation with 800+ films, shows. Access equipment exchanged for favorable portrayal. War, heroic adventure. Military, noble saviors. Studies: viewing pro-military content increases support for war by 52%. Media manufactures consent for mass killing. Celebrities are manufactured assets. They dictate values, politics, and taste. Psychological transfer. People treat celebrities as parental figures. 60% of youth admit, my hero shapes my beliefs. Stars are high priests of secular religion, delivering approved doctrine. Google, Facebook, YouTube algorithms deliver only what you like, creating echo chambers. Diversity of thought eliminated. Cambridge Analytica proved algorithms can change voting behavior by 20 to 30%. Control over information flow. Control over outcome. Orwellian newspeak. Redefining words to limit thought. Equality and sameness. Justice and compliance. Freedom. License. Linguists confirm vocabulary. Reduction reduces cognitive capacity. If you cannot name it, you cannot think it. Erutin 7 years. Brain absorbs like sponge. Disney, PBS, Nickelodeon, designed to shape permanent worldview. Rockefeller Foundation, values formed before age 8 are irreversible. System secures compliance for 70+ years via early indoctrination. Media amplifies or creates crisis to drive policy. Hegelian dialectic, create problem, generate fear, reaction, offer pre-planned solution. 9/11, Patriot Act, COVID, digital passport. Media is delivery system for social engineering. 80% of people cannot distinguish fact from fiction after viewing. Predictive programming. Future policies shown in media years prior. Acceptance guaranteed when fiction becomes reality. The line dissolves. Truth is whatever is shown. Media ties health to authority. Only experts know. Pharma spends $5 billion a year on promotion. Natural solutions demonized. Result: population sees themselves as perpetual patients. Dependency cycle complete. Media plus education aligned to reduce critical analysis. Reading time down 70% since 1960s. IQ scores dropping steadily. Goal: functional illiteracy. Capable of working, incapable of questioning. Perfect worker, consumer class. Media switches narrative based on need. Nationalism during war, globalism during economic integration. Both serve elite power. Identity is fluid, designed to keep population aligned with current agenda. You are never free, just rebranded. Media amplifies rare violent crime by 1000x. Result: population demands more police, cameras, control. Studies: crime rates drop while fear rises. Fear is manufactured to legitimize authoritarian infrastructure. Sports coverage: more than 30% of media output. Function: divert attention from political, economic reality. Gladiatorial entertainment keeps masses docile and divided. Emotionally invested fans rarely organize for change. Distraction is control. Media creates impossible ideals. 70% of women and 45% of men report self-loathing. Solution: consumption of cosmetics, surgery, fashion. Profit plus compliance, NAS, perfect system. Weakened self-image, easier to control. Labeling mechanism: conspiracy theorist, extremist, misinformation. Once tagged, credibility destroyed. Media creates psychological barrier preventing information transfer. Self-censorship becomes norm. Media presents selective data as absolute truth. Numbers are authority. Independent analysis shows 60% of official statistics are modified or misleading. Trust in numbers replaces trust in observation. Media creates anxiety, isolation, promotes pharmaceutical solutions. Cycle: media-induced suffering, industry profit, further dependency. Mental illness becomes mass condition managed by system. Media frames climate change as unquestionable moral imperative. Individual guilt promoted to justify global taxation and control. Science replaced by dogma, another perfect crisis for centralization. Studies: knowledge of manipulation reduces effectiveness by 72%. Decentralized media erodes monopoly. However, censorship and AI present new threats. Awareness is vaccine. Disconnect from matrix, just regain sovereignty. Mass media fits every definition of systematic brainwashing: monopoly ownership, psychological techniques, historical proof of manipulation, clear agenda of control. It is not bias or error. It is design system. To consume unfiltered media is to surrender your mind.